you're all there. You cannot answer me aloud, but you can write me through the chat. I want this webinar to be very interactive, which means you can talk to me by chat. You can talk to me aloud, although I'm not going to hear you, so it's better by chat. You can express yourselves and talk to me, and I want you to be there. So I want to feel that everybody's there. So give me a yay. Is everybody there through the chat? Talk to me. Say something. Come on. Okay. Yeah. I can see you're, hey. All right. I'm going to ask you and beg you to forgive me for my mistakes, because English is not my native language. So I might say something wrong. So let's see how it goes. Okay, let's start. Sorry. Let me propose a quick game to you. All right? Okay, everybody's there. I know you can hear me. I'm gonna ask you to move yourselves, just like me. Move your arms right now at home, although all your family might think you're crazy. Don't worry about it. Move your arms, move your head, your hands, everything. Just move it. And I'm gonna ask you to stop and freeze. When I clap my hands, just freeze. And stay like that for 9 seconds. You gotta count 9 seconds in your minds. And when 9 seconds have passed, you can move. All right, you did good, but let's try a second time. Okay, I'm gonna ask you to move, and move crazily, move, just move yourselves, move yourselves. And when I clap my hand, you're gonna freeze. You're gonna stop. And come back until 13 seconds. I want you to be frozen for 13 seconds. Can you count 13 seconds in your mind? It's only now. Are you sure you did right? Okay, one last time. This has a purpose. One last time. Move yourselves. Although your family thinks you're crazy, don't worry, just move and now freeze. And you get a count and be like that for 1 hour. Got you. Okay. What happens? Is it difficult to be like that for 1 hour? It's very easy to measure a second. It's very easy to measure 10 seconds or 12 seconds, even 1 minute, even 5 minutes. But what about 1 hour? What about a day? Or what about 125,600 minutes? That only people from Rent can do. Okay. It's very easy to measure a quick time, but we would have it hard by measuring a day or 2 hours or something, and we would find it very boring too. So that is the problem. That takes me to the problem. Can you see my PowerPoints? Can you see the problem slide? Yes? Just give me one yes. Great. Okay. What's the problem? People with some kind of autism spectrum disorder, or with cognitive impairments, or with learning difficulties, they do not find it easy to measure time. They have issues. They have issues when it comes to perceiving time. Since they see it as an abstract concept, it's very difficult for them to measure and understand. They need to know at every moment what's going to happen next, what task are they going to do, and how long is that task going to last. Also, trying to measure how much time has passed from one activity to the next one is really complicated for them, especially for those with autism, but also for many other people with cognitive impairments, disabilities, the elderly, people with dementia, and very especially also for the early childhood. This factor is related with planification and the executive functions in our brains, because timing relies on the working memory and the multitasking, and also with planning. And all of these areas are impaired in many of these individuals, and especially individuals with autism. So this generates a lot of disorientation, anxiety, stress, and frustration for them. And it makes it really difficult to carry out daily activities, especially if those aren't their favorites. They may be perceived as eternal and endless, and because of that, they might do disruptive behaviors in order to avoid those boring tasks, right? So, well, there are actually some international studies about it published in PubMed and Science Direct. I'm gonna send those articles to you later right? And it's been proved that the sense of time, and its management, as well as the sequential order of the events, is perceived in a different way by those with ASD. Not only those with ASD, also TDHD and others, like I said. Okay, so let's go to the solution. What might be a solution for this? Okay, what we want to introduce to you today is Resetea, the visual timer. This is what we call the solution. Let me introduce you. Resetea is the device that you see in the picture. His creator, Andrés Collazos, who is with us today, calls it Time Sequences Support Clock. And Resetea is a visual timer for managing time. Okay, it's a physical device, a visual timer that you can see, and it measures the duration of a sequence of activities from 1 up to 12, and it shows the duration of each activity on the screen with the help of the pictograms or pictures that you place in the screen, and with the help of the LED lights that indicate at all times the time passing by. So in this way, the users with difficulties perceiving time can see time passing by and understand better how much time they have for an activity, when is the activity about to be over, and when they need to start with the next one. So it's this physical device, it's programmable, it works automatically, and it works very good for those having issues perceiving time, since they can see the picture, the task they have to do, they can follow the passing of the time thanks to the LED lights, and it helps them with anticipation. I want to show you a video so that you better catch it easy. Okay, so this is Resetea. Did you all get it? Just give me a yes. Say, I'm here, Raquel. Great video, thank you. Okay, so as you can see in the slides, this is a visual timer for helping managing time. All right, you can place an activity or 4 or up to 12 activities from just 1 or 12, and each activity can be of 1 minute or up to 60 minutes. It's programmable, it's automatic. You place the pictures or photos or even drawings or even tags, names, whatever, on the screen, and then time goes passing by. So imagine we have to present some children a series of different activities like reading, writing, playing, the break time, whatever. And up to the moment, we did it manually. And we told the child, you have 5 minutes for doing this task. And maybe you could anticipate by warning, 1 minute left, like your mother did when you were a child, which was very efficient, by the way. But also manually, everything was manually. So there are some other devices, and we have had some samples before, but now we have Resetea, which you just need to program with a sequence of activities. You set the time for each individual activity, and you play it. And the users are the ones who follow the passing of each activity. And thanks to the lights, the LED lights, they can manage time, and they can control and see how much time is left and be ready to start the next activity. Resetea is proving to be very successful in the 4 continents we're selling it, because it really responds to an actual and big necessity in families and centers, schools, etc. Also hospitals we have. A device that solves that and many other issues. We're very happy to have, because I think this is very happy for any person who needs an anticipation in his daily life. For example, dementia, many cognitive impairments, early childhood, as we mentioned. And it's very important that it takes away the anxiety by anticipating and sequencing the activities. So if you know anybody with some kind of autism or learning difficulties or so on, you will agree with me. I have my nephew and I have other children around me, and I can tell you, yeah, this is like that. They're just like that. So let's go to the IDEA. Andrés Collazos, the teacher. Okay, this is Andrés. He's a special education teacher in a school in Madrid, and he came up with this idea. How did he come up with the idea? Okay, as he explained to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, Andrés, he was worried about one of his students, Marco, some years ago, because Marco had a great need for anticipation of routines, being told what was going to happen next. So he started to think about how to solve this. Andreas had always used temporal lines made out of cardboard with an arrow fixed with Velcro and manual systems like that. But sometimes the teacher or the student would forget of changing the arrow with the Velcro, and that created some confusion, some abstraction, nervousness. So he decided to do something about it, and he invented something which was also very aircraft, so to speak, and he made a first sample. His first sample was made in wood and very, very simple. It was with very simple mechanisms. He tested it with that sample, and he realized that the results were very significant when it came to concentration and relaxation, and not just with Marco, but with every other student. So that's when he saw the necessity of having something that would work automatically, but still could imply the users. And he came up with this device, with Resetea. These are Andres' students that you can see in the slides now. After many years, Andres has realized of the positive evolution of all his students, and especially those who are at an early stage and those with difficulties because they need more anticipation at their activities at the school. We have the example of David. He's 7 years old, and he needs to know at every single moment what is going to happen next, and where is he going next, and what activities are going to be done. And he feels now much more at ease and happy thanks to Resetea. Also, we have Marco that you will see later. He changes the timer at the classroom by himself. He manages it, he enjoys it, and he helps in the classroom with the device. And he can now perceive time better, and he can organize better now. Andres has told us that he has seen a significant evolution in all his students. And now he uses it with everybody because he got like a great a wide range of different kind of students. So he's told us about the significant changes that he has perceived thanks to this device, and above all, the issues that they used to have and that he's solving now thanks to this device. which is very, very important. Let me show you, please, Andres and his students in a video that I find very emotional. It's subtitled in English and spoken in Spanish. I find it very emotional, and whenever I look at it, I become emotional because these are his students, and he's very close to them, right? One of the children there has an autism spectrum disorder. The others have some kind of autism, also learning difficulties. One of them is blind too. So let me put you this video, and I want you to see Andres in the actual classroom using Resetea. It's a very brief example, but you can have an idea about it.
Hola, mi nombre es Andrés, os presento reloj Resetea, reloj de secuencias temporales de apoyo. Resetea es un reloj inicialmente inventado para trabajar con personas con TEA. También se puede utilizar para chavales de educación infantil, personas con Alzheimer, daño cerebral. En general es un aparato que está pensado para anticipar los tiempos a personas que necesiten una estructuración espacial a la hora de moverse, en ciertos contextos, a la hora de anticipar secuencias de su vida diaria, cotidiana, en la escuela. En el día de hoy vamos a hacer una sesión práctica de cómo trabajar con nuestro reloj. Vamos a anticipar a nuestros chicos del aula Luna una serie de secuencias que van a ser las siguientes. Vamos a hacer una pequeña sesión de música, vamos a escribir, iremos al ordenador y por último vamos a comer. Resetea funciona de una manera que vais a ver ahora, automática y secuencial. Entonces, bueno, no me entretengo más y pasamos a ver cómo funciona Resetea. En el día de hoy vamos a hacer una secuencia de 4 actividades, que van a ser las siguientes. A ver, Enar, primero, ¿qué vamos a hacer?
Música.
¿Diego?
Escribir.
¿Marco?
Ordenador.
¿Lucía?
Comer.
Muy bien, chicos. Vamos a poner la secuencia en el reloj para poner los tiempos en cada actividad. Vale, lo tenemos, ¿verdad, chicos?
Sí.
Damos al OK y cuando el OK empiece nos vamos a mover para ir a cantar, ¿verdad?
Sí. Blanca Navidad, sueños y con la nieve alrededor, las cosas que vale la pena derretirse, todo es posible, incluso lo imposible. Las virtudes a veces están bajo la superficie.
Muy bien.
La belleza está en el interior. Recuérdame aunque te diga adiós. Debo dejar de ser algo que no soy.
Vamos a ver el cambio ahora a hacer la agenda. Vale. Venga, nos vamos a la mesa a hacer las agendas. ¿Hoy qué hemos hecho? Hoy en el cole hemos hecho...
Lenguaje, matemáticas, hemos
jugado... A ver, ponemos aquí, venga. Ordenador. ¿Hemos hecho lengua hoy? ¿Mate? Vale, pero música sí, rodeamos. Vamos a ir al ordenador. ¿Que tenemos cuántos minutos? ¿Hemos dicho? 15 minutos. Entonces vamos a hacer, ¿cuántos turnos vamos a hacer? 4 turnos. Marco y Lucía, empezamos, venga.
Muy rápido, sí. No te dé miedo.
Te digo el pobre decía, ¿por qué no me sirves ya la comida? Hola.
Mañana te vengo otra vez a mujer. Mira, se está comiendo solo.
Okay, could you all see the video? Because somebody was having problems. Okay, okay. Okay, I know you're having questions, but let me go to that later on, please. Just because of a matter of structure, but I'll go to that later because I'm seeing your questions. Okay, so and then they will all be answered, right? With Resetea, it's very important that they can anticipate what's going to happen, right? They can see what's going to happen next, and that's very important for all these kind of people with autism, especially. It's been scientifically proved they need an anticipation. So it's it works better for therapists, as per our experience, and also some articles written about it, to anticipate them what's going to happen. If they can see it in a structure with different sequences, they know what's going to happen. Also, they know what already happened, and it's very important to know what's going to happen, because in this way they can have a temporal structure of a longer period than putting a clock each time for every activity. Also, you might forget, the teacher or the student could forget. Also, the user can also handle it, the student can handle it, and also it's more visual than having a clock and just putting it on and off, because you have the picture, you have the drawing, or even a pictogram, depending on who's your user. Some of them will need pictograms, others is good with pictures, photos. But these kind of people normally with TDAH, autism, cognitive difficulties, etc., even early childhood, all these users we're addressing this device to, they're very visual normally. Their brains work in a visual way, in a different way. So it's very important for them to actually see it, because their visual memory is very good. That's why we use pictograms or pictures to communicate with them, with many people with autism, as you know. That visual device helps you to not having any other distracting added factor, but something which is already structured. And also think that people with autism really need a very hard structuring. They're unflexible. They need a structure of routines and things. And yeah, I really know that. So I think that is answering one of your questions, Grain, I think. But anyway, I'll go back to the questions later on. Anyways, so the users. Andres, the teacher, the creator, always says anticipation plus sequencing equals relaxation. Who are the users of this device? As I said, anybody needing an anticipation in his daily life. As per our experience, Andres created it for a single child. The idea came up with Marco, a single child, who's got some kind of, I say some kind because it's very particular case. He has autism spectrum disorder, but it's very useful also for ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, for cognitive impairments, many sorts of cognitive impairments. It's very useful in learning difficulties as well. We'll go through some uses later on, which is like homework, preparation of an exam, etc. Also for early childhood education, because of the visual thing, because of the automatic thing, the anticipation, like promoting a better behavior. Also for the elderly in general, and some kind of dementia as well. And anybody needing an anticipation. I'm sure you can give me more examples than I can give you, but for sure these that I mentioned. So what kind of issues do these people have? I just want to mention some of them. The issues that these people normally have is the lack of the control of their environment in general, according to any specific case, of course. But in general, they need anticipation of events. They need a structure. They're very inflexible, and that creates them anxiety, frustration, stress, apathy, challenging behavior, and communication. So Andreas created this thinking that anticipation plus the sequencing makes them to be more at ease, more relaxed. And also, as I said, the visual memory is very good because the pictograms or photos, the visual side helps them to be in context. They also have issues with participation, with interaction, because they tend to isolate themselves. Maybe not all of them, maybe not in the same way, but social isolation is very common in this population in many ways, just like not speaking, not participating, not being involved in group activities, etc. Sometimes they do not communicate, afraid of the reactions of others, or they don't know how to interpret the whys or faces of others. And sometimes this is good also for let them know what's going to happen or who's going to come or what class are they going to have next, anticipating what's happening, or the next person you're going to see is the musician teacher or whatever. No, that helps to achieve relaxation as per our experience. The benefits of this is most of the benefits you can imagine, but the ones that we have proved and we can like make a statement about, this gives the user a better perception of time. Because of seeing time, seeing the passing of time, they can better imagine it. As I said, I'm going to show you some articles about it later from PubMed and Science Direct. There are many articles, but these two are like panacea. They've been proven and like kind of undeniable, saying that thing about perception of time. So if they can see time passing by in a visual way with the lights and everything, it's easier to them to reduce anxiety, to be more relaxed, to be more patient, not to have so much frustration and be more autonomous. They even can handle the device themselves. So this decreases disruptive conduct as per our experience and Andreas' experience too, promotes better behavior and motivates interaction and individual participation too, but also participation in group. Interaction, communication, to encourage participation in group, in activities, etc. It helps to regulate self-control, which is an issue in many of the cognitive impairments. All of them, maybe it's an issue. And it prevents disorientation too. It creates a peaceful environment, relaxation, anxiety. It helps with the general environment of the classroom or the individual person too. The applications of these device would be many as you can think of. Activity coordinators to schools, teachers, also residencies, rehabilitation specialists. You can use it, we have it in centers with therapists and rehabilitation specialists. Also at health, at hospitals, at the rehab areas, at schools, of course, at homes, the parents, the family members, that's very useful for them. We are seeing in Spain that we are addressing to the actual families because this is being very successful in families because it's also a necessity for them. But also you could say you could use this at the office or in an office where somebody with special necessities is working, but not exclusively. You can think of more applications than I'm sure. So let me go to the ideas of use. That's a very important part. We've been thinking and we've been using this device for different ideas and moments to use this timer. Okay, I'm sure you will come up with more, but I want to mention some. Before mentioning some, I want to show you a video. Let me put you a video, which is Marco. He's a student of Andres with autism. He's the reason why Andres came up with the idea. And he's right now at home, as we are all, everybody. He's at home now, and he feels anxious about it because he can't go to school. His routine was changed. He feels very nervous and frustrated because of some things. And his father said he wasn't doing homework, or he was kind of nervous about it. So we sent him a Resetea, and now he sent us a video, very like 20 seconds video. He sent us different videos. I'm going to show you just one of him making homework. It's just a sweet video about Marco doing homework at home now during these days of quarantine.
Bueno, Marco, ¿qué hemos terminado ahora? ¿Qué ha pasado?
Hemos pasado inglés.
Inglés se ha terminado y...
Great.
Bueno, Marco, ¿qué
So
hemos
he's
terminado
doing
ahora? ¿Qué ha
homework,
pasado?
and he's being structured the different activities, the different
Inglés se ha
type of
terminado.
homework
¿Y qué
he needs to
empezamos
do
ahora?
by his father. So his father is
Venga, ahora hacemos
kind
el
of
cuaderno y la
guiding
ficha.
him to
Vamos a
do the
empezar
homework, and he
repasando las
knows
tablas
how
de
much
multiplicar,
time
¿de
he
acuerdo?
has for every
Venga,
subject
adiós,
of
chicos, voy a
homework
trabajar
or for every
mates.
activity,
Venga.
etc. The family told us this device is being very helpful for him during these days of quarantine, and we're very happy about it. So the ideas of use, if you can come up with more, I encourage you to write me and say this, that, whatever. Give me ideas. That would be great. Yeah, as you were saying in the chat, you can place templates with up to 12 different activities. I can either, with the device, some templates are included, right? So there are many different kinds of templates. Some of them are already like with the ideas, but some of them are blank templates. So you have a template with one activity, with two, with three, with four, up to 12. So you can choose the template you want and put, for example, one of 5 activities, and then do the 5 activities. And then when you configure it, I'm going to show you how to configure right now because it's easy peasy. When you configure it, you can set a different time for each individual activity, right? Saying how long it's going to last every individual activity. So the first one is 2 minutes, the second one is 1 minute, the third one is 10 minutes, and so on. And then you have the sequential activities happening. All right, ideas of use. The limit is the sky. I encourage you to write me more ideas of use of the activities. So we can measure the time of a sequence of activities, as you saw. Like, for example, you're going to have your haircut because you don't like it, you hate it, but afterwards, it's going to be just this while when this light gets to this point and the haircut becomes red, because the past activities become red, you're going to have this thing that you so much like. We're going to go to buy an ice cream, for example. So you can have haircut and buy an ice cream. You can use it for preparation of exams, as some students already do. For example, determine how much time to use in answering each question so that they won't be stuck in the same question. That happens. My nephew, who has an autism spectrum disorder, he's very funny and lovable. And the thing is that in some exams, we were laughing a lot at the family because he was doing an exam. He got stuck in one question. Oh, because they were asking for a type of church or something like that. And he said, I couldn't say all type of churches in the world. I know this and that and this and that, and from that area, from that age. And we were like, but why didn't you go on with the exam? And he was like, oh no, because I didn't know that question. And he knew the rest of the exam. So that's also very useful for not being stuck in the same question, because it happens. It's very useful for taking turns too. We place the names over the photo or picture or the name, just the name of the participants in the device, and they know when it's their turn. You know, they can be very, even children in general, they are very not patient about waiting their turn. So this helps them to respect it better. Also, we can use it as a clock. You can place a template, program 12 activities of 60 minutes each activity, and then you have the hour and the minute, and the blue little dots will show the hour and the minute. Maybe just like any necessity that you might have as a clock, but a visual one for them to understand better. Also, for those who need to take a pill at a specific time, like elderly or whoever, you can put white labels and only put the pill label matching at the time that he needs to take the medication, and then he will take it only when it's time, or something like that. Andreas can give us more examples. He uses it for yoga class, like this is the time for meditation, this is the time for relaxation, for stretching, in physiotherapy also. He uses it for letting the children know how much time is left for going to the break or for going outwards to a fun activity. Also for work, you could do the same, like mark the time of the break. And also, as I said, for the elderly, like controlling a pill or shower or sleeping when it's time to do whatever. I don't know, you might come up with 100 of ideas, actually. It's very easy to configure. I want to talk to you, and I'm almost finishing, don't worry about the technical aspects. It's easy. Right. As you can see in my screen, it's a plug-in device, wall mountable, or for use on a table. We use it on a table, but if somebody would mount it on the wall, I don't know. It's programmable and it's very easy to configure. It's very visual, which is very important. We see like important feature of this device. It has the LED lights and it shows progression of time through the colors, right? So you can forward moving, you can reverse, you can repeat or pause the task. Okay, let's pause this task. Let's repeat it. You have an option to go reverse and forward too, and an option to block the buttons. You have the pictograms or the photos, and it includes printable and customizable templates. It's activity-based and group and individual-oriented. So you just need to download the files and create your own templates for the activity you need. With this webinar, after this webinar, I'm going to send to you some links. These articles I told you, I'm going to send you some pictures of the device and these videos that you saw. And I'm going to send you also some templates that we made for these quarantine days. It's not the templates, you could place them in Resetea, but since you don't have it yet, you can use them as the idea. We're giving those to people in Spain for their homes in these days of quarantine. And they're being very successful because the idea is very nice to put the sequencing. And some of the templates, children can color them, draw them, and use them for whatever activity. So I'll send that to you later. And I think that's pretty much all. Let me show you a video about the configuration of Resetea so that you better can see how to configure. It's very easy, as I said. And it's pretty much everything. Let me go ahead just a second. All right. So this is how easy you can configure Resetea. Even some students do by themselves, and they can also play it or pause it by themselves, and it's very easy. I know you have a lot of things in the chat to say, so I'm going to go to all of them now. How to have this product? Okay, I'm going to send you those videos and stuff. I would encourage you to share the video with your relatives, with friends, with work, with therapists, you know, with centers, with whoever you want. I would welcome you on board and would encourage you to share the video. I think it's a very interesting tool, and I have some friends and some people around with these sort of relatives or with children with cognitive impairments around, and I have advised them to have it. So I would encourage you to share it. If you would like to buy it, just let us know and we will put you in contact with the correspondent distributor, because you are all people we have some people from Europe now, from United States. So just let us know. You can send us an email to info@bjlife@.com and we will put you in contact with our distributor. Okay, so right is here. Anyways, I'm gonna send you an email after this webinar, so you're gonna have our contact. And yes, so let's go. I just have one more thing to say that I'll say when the questions are done. And that's a very interesting thing, so don't leave me. Let's go to the questions. Question mode has been enabled. That's great. Okay, questions. I have a question about how Andreas finds this helpful as compared to starting a timer clock for each activity. Okay, this is more or less what we said. With Resetea, they can know what they have ahead. They can have an anticipation of what they're going to do. So in this way, they have a temporal structuring of a longer period. And this has proved to be important for these kind of people. So if you just, as I said, if you just put a timer on, you depend on the human hands, first of all, to do it. Although it's a clock, like, of course, it's automatic, but you need to go and click it. But with that, you have the sequence of activities that are going to happen. You will also have what's already happened, which remains in the memory, and that's very important for them too. And you have a visual way of seeing it. So for some reason, which is related with these executive and planning functions in their brains, it helps them to better structure by seeing it. Those users are also very visual, let's remember. So I hope this answers your question, but I think it's a totally different thing to start a timer every time for each activity than to have an automatic way of seeing the activities going by. Even the user can be more autonomous. Some users, you would just leave them there and they would be doing the different activities and perceiving the time better because they can see the LEDs going through and how much is activity lasting. So we think this is perfect for that. This is not a device like solving every need in the world, but it's for sure perfect for that necessity we're covering. I hope this answers your question. You want to move to the next question, Soraya, or? Andres, on the computer production of the template, are you able to place online pictures and vocabulary directly on template? Well, yes, I guess so. Andres, if you need to correct me, Andres, me puedes enviar un WhatsApp que lo tengo abierto en tu WhatsApp si quieres, o chat, lo que te vaya mejor. I just said, Andres, if you need to correct me, send me a WhatsApp or send me a chat. I really think so, since we're doing that all the time, that you can have your computer, you can have the template, and then you're able to place pictures or words or whatever you want on the template, because the templates are customizable. So you can do it either with a computer or drawing. Is that right, Andres? Yes, that's right. Okay, we can move on to the, I hope this answers your question. But definitely, yes, you can have the templates are for customizing whatever you want as you want. And also with a very simple program in the computer, you can do it. Doesn't have to be Photoshop or something. Does the light up red when an activity is completed? Yes. When an activity is completed, the light of the device of that specific activity becomes red. Andres did it red because of the traffic lights. He thought, like, since that relation with the traffic lights has already been done in their brains, it would be good to have the light in red color so that they see what's already passed. And the next ones, the rest of them, remain blank, just white, enlightened. But the ones who have passed are light up red. So it's a yes. What else? Give me another question. I'm ready, come on. I'm thinking of people with difficulty reading the clock and who are forced to stay in bed, motionless, for a long time in hospital for various pathologies. Okay. If they are motionless in a bed, in hospital for a long time, and they have various pathologies, I don't know which ones, but that's the case. What I cannot think of is what kind of activities would that be, but the activity can be watch TV or activities in which they don't have to move, I guess. So the clock would be also useful, but of course you will need to find a way to communicate. That happens also with lots of children with autism, because some of them understand better pictograms. For example, as you know, we are a manufacturer of assistive technology, and we have these communicators also. And in Spain, we distribute also, we're a distributor with our brand there, BJ Adaptaciones. And some children communicate through the communicators through pictograms. So maybe if they cannot read the clock, you would need to place like pictograms. And if they cannot see the lights of the time going by, you will need to either like put the clock closer or different thing, because it's, I understand it's, I mean, if they cannot see it, they use it a different one. But for example, Andreas, he has a student who is blind, and he's very cute. And the thing is that because of the other students and because of Andreas making him participate, he cannot see the lights, but he can follow the activities together with the rest. But of course, it wasn't created for blind people. So I guess it would be all about finding a way to communicate, like a pictogram, and then making possible for him to see, maybe mount it in a wall so that he can really see the lights going by and understand how much time he has left. Something like that. Next question. I'm ready. Okay, Andreas is talking to me. Okay. I'm wondering about the size and contrast of images for children with visual impairment, though because there is no sound feedback in this model. With sound, it might have more functionality for this group. You're totally right. This is a question that people are doing to us. As I said, Resetea is very helpful for everybody needing an anticipation in their lives, for everybody needing to understand time better, with issues about perceiving time. But of course, it's not a device for the whole world. So it has no sound, no beep warning you of next activity because of a reason. Because the focus of users for what this device has been created is people normally with autism, with TDHD, etc. And normally, usually, not in all cases, but usually, they do have issues with sounds or with high sounds. They might even put their hands on their ears, children with autism especially, they do, because I'm surrounded by them, I can tell you. And it would be like, it would serve a different aim, so it would be a different thing. So it would have more functionality for that group, I totally agree, but it wasn't meant to be for visual impairment and have the beep, because generally for the users it would annoy more than solve. So you're right, maybe it's not like addressed so far for visual impairment, and we can find a different solution. Is the device also designed to be hung on the wall? Yes, it's wall mountable. Andres, is that wall mountable? I would swear it is. So yes, you can mount it on the wall too. Shoot me another question, Soraya. Do you have any experience in adult patients admitted to the ICU or with neurological disorders? Okay, we do not have experience with people in the ICU or with neurological disorders. Yes, with some cognitive impairments due to neurological disorders, we do have, and it works just the same, just as we explained now. Not with patients in the ICU. But I like you, Francesc, to do that question, because what I'm going to say next at the very end of this webinar is related to that, and you reminded me of saying something, so I'll say that. Thank you. But yes, with neurological disorders and cognitive impairments derived from that, it is very helpful too. Any other question? I think that it could be a great tool for people who have impulse control or difficulty with inhibition, teaching self-regulation. It definitely is. People who have difficulty with inhibition, it's a great tool for them. This is the case of some people with autism in some centers. They're not children, but let's remember that autism doesn't end at 16, as Andres said, because everybody seems like to think autism is only for children and they might forget of adults. But this would be a great tool for that. Totally agree, Shaila. Thank you. Any other question? Idea. For people who have physical challenges, you can add a flexible mount to change angle of viewing. Yeah, that's great. That's right. That's right, Shaila. You mount it on the wall, you change the angle, and they can see it. Of course, if they cannot like see or like they're blind or something, they're not gonna see. That's obvious, Raquel. But I mean, if you add a flexible mount and you change the angle, the angle of the view, you put it even closer and you mount it there, that could be an option. Yeah, as long as you have one necessity of a sequence of activities or of one activity or one necessity of anticipating something or using it as a timer for managing time, as long as you have the necessity, you're going to have the solution. You're going to think of a solution. If you have the necessity, how can I do now this task, or how can I make him feel better or more participative about this activity? Then you're going to have the solution. You're going to find out how to use it, because once you have it in your hands, it's very easy to configure, very easy to use, even for the users, and it's very helpful for many things. This is just like Alexa. Once I had it at home, I can't live without her. And before, I didn't know what to do. My sister gave it to me, and I was like, what am I going to do with this? Like asking the time, putting an alarm, but then now I realize how useful it is. So if you have the necessity, you're going to find you can use it for nameless activities or nameless things. So yeah, thank you, Shaila. Any other question? Yeah, Maria, my colleague, she's saying that the retail price in Spain, I'm also in charge of Spain, so I know that, is 295 euros. That's the price without the VAT. I think, yes. So that's the price without the VAT, 295 in Spain. So it's 3 something with the VAT. I can send you that out if you want. Without VAT, that's right. Okay, for more complex language goals, you could sequence stories. It could be used with children with visual impairment for supporting the visual input when sequencing. Okay, that's a good idea. You sequence stories. So maybe you have a story, and each chapter of the story has a determined time. And then maybe you can ask your students to participate and tell them what happened, what did the wolf do, or whatever, right? What did she answer? And now what happened? And when the time is over, we gotta move on to the next topic or the next character. And now Little Red Riding Hood appeared. What did she say? What happened? And they can make up a story or something. It's a great idea, so definitely. Any other questions? Throw me a question or I shall move on. Okay, 5 seconds, 4 seconds. If you don't throw me a question, I shall move on by saying the last thing I need to say before leaving. Yeah, okay, it seems that's all. But if